Hi, everyone. John Michael Coppola here, and welcome to the Chicago Theater Makers Podcast, where we chat with the actors, directors, choreographers, designers, producers, music directors, lyricists, playwrights, and all the artists who make the Chicago area theaters come alive. We're so excited to have you here with us today. But before we get started, we just want to remind you to please like, subscribe to, and share this podcast with your friends and colleagues who you think would appreciate the conversations we're having. We'd be so grateful for your support in this way so we can continue to bring these stories for years to come. Thanks again for being here, and now, curtain up on today's episode. Today's guest is an actor, singer, and musician based in the city of Chicago. An alumni of Columbia College Chicago, he is a multifaceted performer who thrives on collaboration and ensemble work throughout the city's vast surplus of storefront and suburban theaters. Some of his wide-ranging credits include the Hollywood film Gran Torino, directed by Clint Eastwood, guest star appearances on Chicago Med and Chicago Fire, national tours of The Play That Goes Wrong and Once, Dollar Quartet at both Theater at the Center and Paramount theaters, and most notably as Samwise Gamgee in Chicago Shakespeare Theater and the New Zealand tour of Lord of the Rings, A Musical Tale. He is also a multi-instrumentalist who is proficient in acoustic, electric, and bass guitars, drums, piano, cajon, mandolin, banjo, and ukulele. We discuss all of this and more on today's episode with my guest, Michael Kurowski. Now let's go to the top of the show. Hey, Mike, how you doing, my friend?
Hi, I'm doing great. How you doing?
I'm well. Thanks so much for joining me here on the Chicago Theater Makers Podcast. Now, as we always do here on the podcast, the very first question I'd like to ask all of our guests is, please give our listeners a little bit about your background, a little bit about your training, and most importantly, your first theater experience. So
Okay.
Take it away.
Okay, my name is Michael Kurowski. I grew up in the Detroit metro area of Michigan. Grew up doing a lot of high school theater, a lot of grade school theater. The first theater experience I kind of had was I played Troy Bolton in the High School Musical in 7th grade, which is like right when it came out. And I was so good at basketball. I went to recess every day and I practiced. I never got better than than that show. It was funny as I was 4'0", and the Gabriella that played opposite me, she was like 1.5 feet taller than me. So
Nice.
we had this bit where she would palm the basketball over my head. And there's a great photo I have. I'll see if I can find it for you, where it's just I cannot reach the damn ball.
Oh my God. That's funny.
It was great. I loved the theater was one of the few things that I felt like I could kind of do without thinking about it. Like sports, I like sports, but I couldn't really keep up. I had to really mentally force myself to try harder with sports. But when it came to theater, it just kind of clicked for me. And
That's great.
Yeah, it's cool.
Are you the only one in your family that's musical or in the arts?
I kind of grew up in a musical household. My dad played jazz trumpet in college. My mom did a lot of singing and piano. My brother he did a lot of saxophone, but then he taught me how to play guitar. And my sister would sing and play piano as well. But everybody else except me went into something like sales or something other than that. No one else is in the arts but me. Yeah.
Good for
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Bucking the family
Yeah.
trend.
I'm doing it. Yeah.
Good. Yeah, you are. Now, you said you were good at basketball. Were you good before you played Troy, or did you get good to play Troy?
Absolutely not.
Oh
No, I was terrible. I knew that we were gonna do get your head in the game, so I was like, I gotta make sure I can pass it through my legs. I gotta spin the ball on my finger. I gotta make sure I can shoot a 3. And none of that was relevant at all to the show. I didn't have to do it, but
Sure.
it was. I think I knew I really liked doing theater because I applied myself in different aspects of my life in order to be better at the show. And I think my grades always got better when I was in a show because I would stay after school, I would get all my homework done at school because I had, you have lots of downtime, and if I wanted to do the show without like thinking about homework, I would just get the homework out of the way. If I didn't have a show, if I wasn't doing a show, I would just stay at home and procrastinate until the thing was due.
Right.
I thought it was, thinking back on it and these questions and the questions you were giving me, I was like, it really did help me apply myself back in grade school.
I actually had the opposite story. I didn't fail out, but they were suffering because I was concentrating too much on doing shows. And I think I told this story on a previous episode, but I'm going to say it again anyway because it's my show.
Yeah.
I was not doing well in math. I knew I was going to be getting like a C. And my dad said, if you don't pull up to a B next quarter, you're not going to be able to do theater.
Right.
Now, my brother and I were doing theater at a Catholic high school across town because our high school didn't really do great musicals.
Right.
And I went to my math teacher. I said, listen, my dad won't let me participate in this thing if I don't bring up my grade. And like I didn't want to tell them what the thing was. And they said, well, what is it? I said, well, I'm doing a show at another high school and he won't let me be in the show. And he said, and you don't want kids to know about it because you're afraid you're going to get made fun of? I was like, yeah, kind of. I said, but please, can you please, if you bring me up to a B, I will bring it up to an A in that following quarter. And you know what? I got an A that following quarter. I was a man of my word.
There you go.
And he gave me the B that I didn't deserve just so I could do the musical. So,
Man,
I didn't really like school.
Well, I mean, it just goes to show you that the teachers that you have growing up really kind of shape. They can shape the path you make, whether you realize it or not. In those little early instances of mercy that they can give you,
or grace.
Or grace, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So how did you wind up in Chicago from Detroit?
I have a lot of family that my parents grew up in Mandolin, and they moved. Yeah, they moved to Michigan. They lived in the same neighborhood. They grew up together. Got married, split. But my grandparents lived in Mandolin. So I would be in Illinois a lot, and I'd pass through Chicago. But I knew I always had family there when I was growing up. So if I wanted to go to college there or something, I would. But while I was trying to apply for college, because not going to college wasn't an option, you had to go to college, and I had no idea how to audition. I had no business singing any of the frickin' any of the songs that I didn't know any songs that were like in my age range. Like doing musical theater in Michigan, like you don't have a lot of exposure to the professional aspect of it. So I didn't know what a slate was. I didn't know what a monologue was. I didn't know what a 16-bar cut was. So when they were asking for these things, when I was applying to U of M, any school in New York, Western Michigan, like I flopped. Like I just didn't have the grades. I didn't have the cash. And I didn't have the talent to find my way to those places. Lo and behold, Columbia College comes along, and I go, oh look, there's a place that will just check my pulse and let me in. And lo and behold, they did. And that was in 2012. I graduated 2016, and I've stayed here ever since. And something on Columbia, people will give it flack for having kind of a if you know people from Columbia, they'll drag it with good reason sometimes. But there's a lot of people there that aren't really who are able to be there financially, but not really have the passion to have the drive to push themselves.
I see.
And so the bar's kind of low, which kind of forces you to push yourself further and further and further. Like you get as much out of it as you put in.
Yep, I was just going to say that.
That's what I like about Columbia, because all of the teachers were working professionals in this city. So I was able to, with my peers in my class, like talk to my teachers and go, hey, I know the hypocrites are doing American Idiot. I play a lot of guitar and drums and bass. I know I'm still in school, but could you get me, like, what do you think? And lo and behold, that was my first and only show with the Hypocrites before they closed down. Rest in peace. But my teachers really put in a good word for me, and they helped me along. Like, I owe a lot to the faculty at Columbia. I really do.
So was Tom Mueller still there when you were
Yes, he was. Yes.
there? Yeah, he's a friend. And Amy Ewell?
And Amy Ewell. Yes.
Amy
Yeah,
Ewell.
I took her class a couple times. Yeah. Did a BFA.
Dear friend of mine from New York who, when I wound up landing in Chicago, wrote me a little note and saying, "Hey, I'm in Chicago now." And it was great to know that I had a buddy for my time there. And we remained close. She was here for Thanksgivings practically every time we'd host here. And now she's in she is in North Carolina. Oh, she's gonna hate me for not remembering.
Oh,
I'm sorry, Amy. I love you. So some good friends of mine were teaching there at that time. So I'm glad you worked with them. Give me a little bit about some of the stuff you have in your Actors Toolbox.
Yes, I saw Actors Toolbox. I brought a couple of things. So my Actors Toolbox used to be like physical warm-ups. It used to be like getting in a correct mental space. And now, after doing this so long, my Actors Toolbox basically consists of like any kind of nasal saline spray, saltwater gargle, water, and lots of sleep. I think sleep. And nothing comes together if I am exhausted and tired.
Same.
You know, like,
which is tough for a young dad too, because
Yes.
when I was doing Jersey Boys here, my son was 3, and the show ended. He was 5, 6. But it was tough. No. When we moved here, he was a year and 10 months old. When we ended, he was around 3. So yeah. And now he's a sophomore in college, so we've been here a long time. But it's exhausting.
So you were doing eight shows a week with a kid.
So yes and no. I was a swing in the show, so I had to be the theater 8 shows a week.
Hell yeah. Okay.
But as a swing, you go on a lot.
You
so
never
when
know.
vacations and stuff happened, I was also the dance captain. So the first year and a half, I was always downtown putting in new company members.
Whoa.
It was a lot. The first year and a half, I was basically an absent father here. My wife was a single mom, basically, because I was never home.
That's so difficult.
It's
not just. It's absolutely difficult for, and I'll like, it was incredibly difficult for my wife when I doing any show in this city, because you're just constantly needed. And it's hard to having, I don't know if you can speak to this, but like having kids and being in the arts is such a juggling act, and
Yes, sir.
It's really rewarding and really exhausting at the same time.
Yep.
And sometimes you have to either turn down really good opportunities because, like, I've had to turn down like auditions for Harry Potter, the upcoming what's that, like, rock and roll musical that's going to be touring that's really cool that I wanted to do. I forget the name of it. But I've had to turn down a lot of touring opportunities because, like, 9 months away from my kids, especially when they're like 3 and 4, that's a lifetime to them, and they change so much in that time.
Oh yeah.
There's nothing worth it to me that can justify that.
For sure. And two points that I want to talk about while we're here. The first 6 months of Jersey Boys was in San Francisco. And because it was my first big thing, my wife had done a couple of Broadway shows. Yeah. She was like, this is your chance to do this.
Yeah.
And we were living in New Jersey. Yeah. Her and my son stayed in New Jersey for the first 6 months while I was in San Francisco. They came for like a 2-week visit in August of that summer. But our eye on the prize was we knew we'd be coming to Chicago in October. And that was, we were waiting around for that. And so we closed in San Francisco. I think we had 2 weeks in between before we wrapped up and came here. And then, everything was fine because we were all together.
Right.
It continued on to be challenging just because of my schedule. But yeah, the first 6 months was awful for all of us. And to this day, we still say, worst decision we ever made. We should have just all gone together.
It's so hard. And My wife's a nurse, and she's got. And the thing is,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, she's a nurse at Northwestern downtown. She's amazing. She just got Employee of the Month. She's been there for like 12 years now.
Amazing.
Yeah, and like even if I have like Broadway, if I have a Broadway audition, and it would be great to get a Broadway show, but if it means that I have to move my entire family to New York, that would mean Mary quitting her job, and like she doesn't want to do that. Like it's probably honestly for the best. I love this city. I love working here. Yeah. I love the family life. I love the home that I've made here. And over the years, it's gone from... Actually, you might be able to attest to this, because like before I had kids, everything was like get to the top, get to the top, get to the top, get to the top, top. Don't stop climbing. Everything I ever did felt like absolute middle. Like, doesn't matter, it's not Broadway. Doesn't matter, it's not this. It doesn't matter, even if it is a good step up, it's not the top. Mm-hmm. As soon as we had kids, all of that kind of went out the window. You know, like the stuff that was important stuck with me. Mm-hmm. I want to be a good dad. I want to be a good husband. I want to perform. Like these core principles kind of stay with you, and you want to show your kids that you can do what you love and make a life and also be present. But the drive I used to have for being this ultra successful in the classic sense of the word actor is kind of gone now, and it's been great. When I did 5 weeks in New Zealand with Lord of the Rings, I loved New Zealand. I loved so many parts of that, but I knew as soon as I got off the plane and looked around at the incredible scenery, the beautiful nature, the way that all the towns are built around the hills, everything, I went, this sucks. I want to go home. If I can't share it with my people, I don't want to be here. Yeah. There was a lot of hard times being away from my family that I didn't think I was going to be feeling.
Yeah. Well, when I was in San Francisco, it was my first time there for an extended stay. I had gone there a couple days for a job that I was working when I was in New York. Yeah. But I hated San Francisco. Now, summertime in San Francisco is fucking cold. So the weather was awful. Oh yeah, the weather's awful. But I was rooming with two other guys out there because I was trying to save as much money as possible, which is why we didn't bring the whole family out, because I would have needed a bigger place. And
was that a non-union tour you did?
No. This was the Broadway sit-down of Jersey Boys. We took over. The first national tour was there for a year, and then we took over for them in the current theater while they finally moved to LA, and we did 6 months.
And you had to find your own room.
So yeah, we got the per diem, and we could find our own housing wherever. And I just did like a Craigslist thing, and these guys were looking for a roommate. And that was like the most affordable way that I could like spend money on rent, but also trying some money home for my mortgage that I had to also pay.
Isn't that crazy that like even if like a big time Broadway tour, we still have to scrounge and like really, in a way.
Not everybody was in my position, right? I was a young dad. I owned a house. I had a mortgage that I had. True. Some people, they rent and then they can go on tour and like sublet their place. That's true. It's same. But I didn't have that luxury. Mm-hmm. But then to bring up my second point about from earlier, after the Jersey Boys closed, I did some theater around here in town, but all things being equal, I was like, I'm going to need to get a second job to keep ourselves afloat. And if I have to get a second job, I'm not going to see my family. So I took a back seat and I said, I'm going to put myself on a hiatus for a while. And I took a corporate job for about 12 years. And in that time, opportunities to create the 4C notes came up. And that's been going for 12 years. But also, I kind of would squirrel away my PTO to do things like associate choreograph Fiddler when that came up, and to direct the choreographed Jersey Boys the summer before, and the summer before that. So like I found opportunities, but I really had to sort of eat away at my. Now, granted, I had enough PTO that I could still go on a vacation with my family. Like, I was smart about it all. But that corporate job went away in June. And that's what sort of gave rise to this. And now me going back to theater and auditioning for stuff. And also, we're in a different position than we were that back then. Like, my wife is a yoga instructor, and my kid is, he's in college, and we've been saving away for that for several years. So I'm like, you know what? The retirement plan was for me to go into theater when the kid graduated college, and that's now been pushed up a couple of years. And now I'm doing the thing too, Michael. I'm back at it. So, yeah, it's super fun.
We don't know where the line is going to go and where things are going to end up for us, and it's cool to go with the flow. And honestly, I think stepping away from theater is a very kind of scary thing to do if that's a passion and that's something that you live for. But I think it makes you a better performer stepping away from it. It makes you more of a person. I think when I had kids and when I had to when the pandemic happened and I started like being a provider for two little girls, I think I became less self-centered, and I had to stop worrying about where the career was headed toward. And because of that, I became more of a person, and I actually I didn't have like all the big ticket like things that I have on my resume happened like after I had kids. Like, I was getting more roles because I was I don't know, like I feared that having kids would kind of deter me from a career, but in fact it just brings me more joy to do theater.
That's amazing. And we're going to talk more about Lord of the Rings as well. But you play all these amazing instruments, and you've been playing them for a long time. So how many do you play?
I can play ukulele, guitar, electric guitar, acoustic guitar, electric bass, mandolin. If you're watching, I'm pointing to the ones.
I see them. Yes.
Yeah. I've got a piano over there. I play.
Which, of course,
I play drum kit. A lot of the and a lot of people know that if you do once the musical, you're gonna play a ton of instruments whether you like it or not. So
sure,
it's I would say I'm like a medium level across all of these instruments. And if you need me to play more, I'll happily get better at it. If that makes sense.
Yes, no, for sure. But how do you, just acting and singing in a show and dancing, like that's a whole one set of skill, but also energy.
Yes.
So when you add a layer of playing instruments into that now, like, how do you prepare for the marathon of acting and playing and singing in a show? Because I mean, that's a lot of energy, and I say this not just physically but a mental perspective, because like I've seen all these news reports of like people who play piano, you're using both sides of your brain at the same time, and I'm thinking, my God. And then you cram in all the lines and all the music and all the staging. Like, please tell me how you do it.
Well,
I don't play an instrument, so it's foreign to me.
When I don't think of it as separate things.
Okay.
Well, it helps that I grew up playing piano, and that I have a familiarity with it, and I got bored of playing piano, and then I wanted to play drums with my brother because he liked to play a lot of punk rock, and so I played drums, and then I got bored of drums and went to guitar, and then I played like guitar. And playing like instruments,
you bore easily.
I bore easily. So this is so funny. Like you ask anybody in the $1 Million Quartet, the ones kind of circle, those kind of actors, they will all tell you the same thing of like, I just kind of get bored and I want to do something else. And I don't think of it as a separate thing. A lot of the shows that I do incorporate an instrument, and to me, it's 1-to-1. It's having hot take. If it's a show if you have a show where your actor is playing an instrument and you're not justifying that instrument, or you're not justifying it being played in that show, it doesn't need to be there. So it's been justified a lot. Dollar Quartet, it's right there.
Right.
But I see a lot of shows that try to incorporate, an actor can just happen to play flute, so we're going to put a flute in this show because it's fun to watch. That's when it gets difficult to me. That's when for me it gets difficult to comprehend, like you say.
Have you? Where do you live in the city? Are you in the city or in the suburbs?
City. I'm like a Clark and Oakdale.
Okay, if you can get a ticket,
Yeah.
take your wife out on a date. Go see Amelie at Kokanee.
I wanted to see that.
I'm serious.
Yeah.
I think they're sold out because they extended the run, and I think they were already sold out before they extended. Michael, my wife and I went opening night, and our jaws just dropped at, first of all, how beautiful it looked and sounded, but everyone is playing no less than 3 instruments per person, including the principals, and it works seamlessly. It sounds beautiful. I had Scott and Derek on the podcast several weeks ago, and I asked them about all that, and they joke. I even joked with them that one girl pulls out this trombone at one point. My wife turned to me and said, "Did she just pull out a trombone?" It's like really phenomenal. So if you want to see like a master class and doing this,
I love Kokanee. They do some really good stuff.
really try and go get a ticket. I'm serious.
I'll do my
It's
best.
phenomenal. It's only I think that was running like middle of October. But it had been sold out, so fingers crossed. But to that point, it's a beautiful production, and it does all of those things really well. You don't sit there going, "Oh, why are they playing piano now?" It just works.
It just happens.
Let's talk about Lord of the Rings. Let's go back to that.
Sure.
So I know a little bit about the history, how that it started elsewhere, and then it didn't really do great, and then they sort of revamped it for Chicago Shakes, and then New Zealand. Like, tell me about the audition process for that. I know you played some guitar or some other lyre or something in that show.
Yeah.
Was it lyre? Was it? What is
No.
it?
I wish it was.
Mandolin?
I wish it was a lyre. No, it was. It was a guitar. The audition process was kind of crazy. There was a. I've worked at Chicago Shakes a couple times, and there was a rumor going around that there's gonna do like a big actor muso show. No one knew what it was, but it was gonna be big. And I emailed Bob Mason, and I'm like, Bob, I don't know what it is, but I want to do it. So, and I know this is strange, but put me in. And because I've worked there a couple times, Bob's like, Michael, relax. You're gonna get seen. It's okay. I went in. I did I auditioned originally for Merry and Pippin. Then they brought me in then I had to call back for Frodo, and then they brought me in for Sam. And I met Spencer Milford Davis, who played Frodo, in the audition room, and we read together to practice, and we're both like, ooh, this is a fun little duo we have here. And then he went in and he got it, and then I went in, and it was a great room, and it was a lot of material and a lot of stuff I had to kind of learn myself because there was no other reference to how to play Now and For Always or anything. Yeah. But it was a great process. It was really exciting being kind of the forefront of a national, like, what the heck is this gonna be? And with any production, I will say there's a lot of things I would have done differently with the production itself. Critically, it was not super well received, but I don't think I've had a more rewarding experience in theater in my life. Lord of the Rings came at a time in my life where it required all of my dancing, all of my acting, all of my singing, all of my instrumentation, and all of my dialect work to do for 3 hours every night.
All those things we were talking about.
Everything.
Yeah.
And I just happened to be in the right city at the right time, at the right place to do this. And another reason why I love Chicago, I feel like, and I promise I'll come back. But in Chicago, sometimes I feel like a lot of our career, like if you look at it on a graph, it goes up at a slight 16-degree angle for a long time, and it doesn't feel like there's a lot of progress. And you see your friends in New York like spike up, or in LA they're going like, whoa, a TV show, whoa, here. But I think that if you stick with Chicago long enough, you will get to a really good spot in your career that you'll find comfortable. And I feel like sticking with Chicago put me in that position to be in Lord of the Rings.
Cool.
It was incredible. The fans were the fans were dressed up in cosplay. We got to it was the people that wanted to be there and were happy whatever it was. Whatever it was going to be, they were so excited that it was there and they could be a part of it and watch and listen. You kind of had to go in with like a really good spirit about it.
Yeah.
You know, I pick up Spencer and I throw him over my shoulder and I'm carrying a Mount Doom. And in Chicago, when we do that, it's like I'm running in for a touchdown. People are going, ah, go Sam! Ah! Not so much in New Zealand. In New Zealand, they have anywhere else but America, the audiences are very tempered and they're going to watch and listen and laugh at the appropriate times. In America, all bets are off. It's a sports game, you know.
So you make your home and creative base here in Chicago, but you've done movies in LA with Clint Eastwood. You have been on tour. I'm assuming when you were on tour was before you had kids or married.
Yes,
or...
yeah, that was right after college.
Gotcha. And you've touched on it about why you keep Chicago as your creative home base and your physical home base. But tell me some of the differences from all of them, from the experiences of being in LA and in New York and on tour compared to your daily life here.
I sometimes feel that Chicago is the end point for a lot of people, if that makes sense. Like, you have a career, you go to New York, you go to LA, you get this career, and then you want to find someplace affordable where you can still do theater. I feel like I'm kind of skipping some steps. I feel like I've got my family and a great career, and I am set up in Chicago. Chicago is a beautiful place to start taking chances and finding a love for theater in a way that is comfortable and not as nose to the grindstone, like burn yourself out every day constantly. You can find your own pace and find a niche that's good for you in this space. I love being here because it's an easy place to get started, and it's a lovely place to find the friends, find the people you love and meet, and either create something new, like this beautiful podcast that I think has been needed for a long time. And there is that adage going around about how, like, in Chicago you'll never get famous, but you'll work forever. And I'm being in the city since 2012 and working here, I'm a little jaded by that. I want to challenge that notion because we have an incredible theater base, an incredible base of actors who want to work badly and have put the time and effort into and the sacrifice into it just as much as our eastern and western cities. And I see no reason why this city can't be as competitive as New York and LA. And it's frustrating because the people I talk to in LA, the people that I talk to in New York have a respect for Chicago and Chicago actors that sometimes I don't think Chicago has for. It's and I honestly think that I'm always trying to advocate for Chicago building itself up and keep, like, it's tough. We've got some incredible theaters downtown that only put in touring acts from New York and touring acts from LA, which, I mean, that's going to make all the money. It's a great way to get tourism in. Yeah. But I honestly believe that there is local stuff here that can be just as drawing if it is brought attention, if the attention is brought towards it.
Yeah.
It's tough. It feels like if anybody does catch a big break, the first thing they do is leave the city. And if that ever happens to me, I've got roots here. I don't want to leave this city. I want to keep working here and build up this respect and this stock of hardworking actors who will do anything to make great theater. And that's a part of Chicago theater that I love, and we hear this every episode of this now, of like the ensemble based stuff is something spectacular. And when it hits so good.
Tell me a little bit about some of the influential people you've had in your life that have brought you to this point in your career.
I have to give some credit, a lot of credit to Clint Eastwood and Malpaso Productions. First and foremost, because without I was in Gran Torino, a movie that he directed and starred in when I was like 14 years old. Mm-hmm. And it was when I was in Michigan, and I didn't have an agent, I didn't have anything, I had no idea what I was doing, but there was an open call for a couple speaking roles, and I auditioned for it, and the casting director put me in the movie. And if it's strange, if Clint hadn't decided to make a movie for like it, that particular movie, Gran Torino, in and about the local Hmong population in Detroit, I would not have gotten a role in that movie. I would not have gotten the money from that role to then go to college in Chicago, to then graduate without debt. An actor who went to college who does not have debt. Like,
bravo.
I'm in a position that so many people are not in. Mm-hmm. And I want to make the most of it. So I didn't get here myself. Like so that's a huge part of it. My voice teacher, Janice Pantazelos, she has been in Chicago for a long time. And she found in me a voice that I never knew I had. I love to sing, but she made me a singer, and she would kill me if I didn't thank her. She's such a diva. She's gonna listen to this and go, he better say thank you to me. I love her so much, but I would not have a career if I hadn't had somebody in my corner who believed in me enough to work with me over years to find a voice in me that I could share in this city. My agents. I like to thank my agents. I like to thank my.
This is becoming an award speech.
Yes,
for sure.
It truly is. And my wife and my kids are so influential to me, and but seriously, this business is so damn difficult to do by yourself, without someone in your corner, without somebody saying, no, you're not going to quit, because if you do, you'll drive me insane. I can't stand you when you're not doing this thing that you love, and your kids can't stand you either if you don't do this. it makes an entire world of difference when you find somebody that stands by your side and believes in you through thick and thin, through sickness and in health. And I am a very so lucky person that I have that kind of person in my corner.
Well, you're going to have to make sure that your voice teacher and your wife both listen to the podcast so they can hear you wax poetic about
lots of downloads. Lots of downloads, I'm sure. Yeah.
Tell our listeners where they can find you online, on the socials, all the things.
Well. Hi. You can find me at michaelkurowskiactor.net. That's my website that I update maybe once a year. Or my Instagram at Mike Kurowski. Before I go, I just want a treat for anybody watching, for any actors who are watching. I want to show you my home studio. This is my home studio.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. It is a microphone that is painter's blue taped to a little lever espresso machine that I have. This is...
Is that what that is?
Yes.
Do you drink espresso?
I do on a... I love coffee.
Do you take the mic off to use the espresso machine, or can you use it simultaneously?
It depends. It's a big process to get the tape all the way off. And normally there's no videos, so I don't have to like scrub any like residue off. But it's kind of it's 50-50. Some days if I have time, I'll make some espresso. Don't get me started on coffee. I love coffee.
That's hilarious.
But yeah, this is, if you want to work in the big time of possible voiceover work, you gotta get the good stuff. Oh yeah, watch. I'll even point at it. Oh yeah, yeah. You want that visual gag? You gotta watch the video.
We have no fun here on the podcast at all, ever.
Just giving you like their inner thoughts. I wish I had this when I was growing up in college. I really wish I do. I wish you all the best. This is seriously a great resource.
Thanks, pal. I really appreciate that.
No problem.
Thanks for joining us at the Chicago Theater Makers Podcast. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. The Chicago Theater Makers Podcast is a production of Spirit Art LLC, and our podcast theme music is by Paul Langford. If you or someone you know would like to be a guest on the podcast, please drop us a note at our website, ChiTheaterMakersPodcast.com. That's ChiTheater, makers with an S, podcast.com. We hope you enjoyed spending time with us as much as we enjoyed spending it with you, and we'll see you on the board soon.